Beautiful day here in North Carolina, clear blue and 22.
All right. Well, fantastic. And our topic today is redefining retirement. When full retirement looks like semi retirement. Alan, traditional retirement used to mean leaving the workforce completely. Why is that model becoming outdated for so many Americans today?
Well, one thing is cost, healthcare cost. The cost of everything's going up and up and up, but hardly anybody has a pension anymore, Neil, and they don't have enough money to take care of their retirement. That's the number one fear in retirement is running out of money before you run out of life. And without that pension, people are investing in their 401k, and 401ks don't cut it when it comes to retirement. And we've gone over this time and time again. But they need to have a complete plan for retirement. They need to have guaranteed income because you have to have guaranteed income just to mitigate or eliminate the number one risk in retirement is running out of money before you run out of life.
Numbers show nearly 40% of Americans expect to work during retirement. In your experience, is that more about financial need, or is it about staying engaged?
Well, I think it's both. There's always the financial need. You see people, you don't know how they do it. They're working, uh, Walmart greeter or whatever, or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. But they're 80 years old. Some of these people, but a lot of people work because they want something to do. I know of. When I retired from the Army, I retired in 1993. I only had 21 years in, but I know sergeant majors that had 30, 35 years again. And when they retired, 6 months after they retired, they died. I mean, it's just a physical, I don't know what physical impact of the body or what, but they're not used to not doing anything. And I can't imagine. Like I said, Neil, I'm 72. I can't imagine not being, because I could retire right now if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I want to work. I want to do something. And not 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 being able to do something in retirement not only affects your health, but it affects your relationships with other people.
100%. It totally does. And I think that it just depends on the reason. It's better to, Alan, to retire and work still, even though you don't have to, versus being forced to work because
Exactly.
you don't have the money. Yeah.
That's absolutely right. I mean, just like one of the biggest financial risks is running out of money before you run out of life, like I said, and they'll assume they'll work retirement. Here's the other big problem they've got. What if they can't work due to health or job availability? There's a lot of discrimination going on for people my age and 65 and up, and the jobs are not available.
They totally aren't. What income strategies or tools do you recommend for those entering a semi retirement phase?
Well, first off, they need to understand it's not about rate of return in your portfolio. It's about distribution of your assets. And one of the strategies that I use, I tell people to set them up with a fixed indexed annuity or a fixed annuity that has it eliminates the number one fear in retirement, running out of money before you run out of life. But as an example, Neil, and I've said this before on many of my podcasts, you got $1 million in a stock portfolio at a so-called safe distribution rate of 4%. That's 4% of that $1 million is $40,000, but that's not guaranteed. You'd only need approximately $650,000 at age 65 in certain fixed index annuities to give you the same $40,000, and that's guaranteed. It's not for 30 years; it's guaranteed for the rest of your life, up to 120 if you live that long. And it also can be used for you and your spouse. It's a 0.5% less because the insurance companies are insuring 2 lives. You're protected from market losses because you're guaranteed by contract never to have a market loss due, never have a monetary loss due to market loss because we're not tied to the market. We use indexing strategies to increase our cash value. And here's a big thing, Neil. When you annuitize that contract and say you get $40,000, if your indexing strategy goes up the next year, you get an increase in pay, and that's locked in. You can never lose it. And even if that accumulation value runs out in that fixed index annuity, the insurance company still has to pay you because it's by contract.
How can people adjust their budgets or cash flow strategies to support a phased retirement lifestyle?
Well, first thing you do, definitely adjust your budget. How many times do you go out to eat? I mean, going out to eat for two people, it's $50 or more. And if you've got a family of four, oh my God, it's unbelievable. I don't know how people do it, but I see people out there all the time. And think about some of the vices you do. These people go Starbucks every day and get a $5 cup of coffee or more than that. I had a secretary that worked for me. Every day she got a $5 cup of coffee. And I said, well, you worked the first hour for nothing. And I paid a little bit more than that. But I mean, it's just crazy about things that people do. And they're just not prepared for it. They need planning. As I said, people spend more time planning their summer vacation than they do their retirement.
For someone listening who's unsure if full retirement is realistic or even desirable, what's your best advice for redefining what retirement means to them?
Well, exactly. You've got to have something in your mind. Well, what do I want to do when I retire? Do I want to travel? Do I want to play golf? Do I want to play tennis? Whatever. Or do I want to spend time with my grandkids? My wife retired many years ago, and she spends a lot of time with our grandkids, and she's very happy with that. But I can't do that. I'd go nuts if I didn't do anything and just play with the grandkids all the time. Of course, it's great to do that, but you've got to have a plan what you want to do, and you got that plan also has to take in health considerations because that's something that people are not taking in consideration, and that's long-term care risk, which I said, Neil, 70% of everybody in America will need long-term care at some point in their life, and right now it costs between $50,000 to $200,000 a year.
Right. And that's where they are not prepared and they're not looking at their health, Alan, to be able to do that.
Nope.
And so the best place to call you is at 910-551-1046 or go to strategicwealthstrategies.com or email you at strategicwealth, the number 0 at gmail.com. And one thing that you do that some people don't do, and when you meet with people, you don't charge for a consultation. Explain that.
No, I don't charge for consultation, Neil. What I want to do is educate people on the financial strategies the wealthy and the lending institutions have been using for years. You know, uh, tragic things happen to me. That's why I'm in this business right now for my family. And all it is a matter of education. And 99% of the people that I talk to include CPAs, attorneys, and financial advisors, have no idea what I'm talking about half the time. So all I want to do is educate people. And sometimes they go 2 to 3 hours long, but I'm not going to charge you for it. I want to educate you.
All right. Go to strategicwealthstrategies.com. Appreciate it, Alan. We'll talk soon.